How you doing, everybody? Hey, Eddie, Stefan, right? And Chi-Town, how's it going? Traffic is surprisingly clear here in California. Yeah, it is here too. And on the East Coast, up in New England, going to New York is pretty simple. Hi, Mark. Um, Cars, I bet you mean in California. Yeah. Um, Well, everyone is sheltering in place, as they say. We're staying home and trying to avoid the bug. Shutdown isn't too bad. Yeah. Hey, Junior Johnson, Grant. Um. Anyhow, I thought I'd be the first one today. Everyone beat me to it. Well, they beat me too, so don't feel bad. Ah. Hey, Clyde, how you doing? Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those marks went quick as lightning. Those masks went quick as lightning. Huh? Okay. That's good. Okay. Couple things have been happening. I've been getting. I got a thing from a company called Bridge something or other. They're these real fancy. Hi, Mark. They're the real fancy jewelers, and they have some really good watches there. Um, oh, what are they? Not Bridgeport, but let me see if I can find it here. Um, ah, let's see, inbox. Oh, Betteridge. Yeah, you may have heard of Betteridge. They have shops in Greenwich, Connecticut, and also Aspen, Colorado. I had these really good watches, and they sent me some. They're having their annual sale, so I don't know. There might be something there for you. They had a lot of used stuff. I think they take a lot of trade-ins, and they had one I think that was interesting. It was a Alanga um, dual time, and it was about 17. I think they were asking for it. I don't know if that's a good deal or not. I don't know much about Alanga. Um, yeah, Junior, I did. Yeah, we had one this morning too. This is sort of to get everybody. Hi, Andreas. How you doing? And Apostatolos and Bud. Hey, Bud. Ed. Hi. Okay. Well, so my deal that I found, I went a little different direction. There were two new watches that came out from a fairly bargain basement watchmaker. I'd done a video on them last year. They're called Louis Arand, and the thing I like about them is that their designs are nice, and they are fastidiously honest about what's in their watches. And basically, what they use now is they're using some of the older ETAs that ETAs doesn't seem to mind parting with, and those are they were Pazoo 7001s, which are basically a wind up, and then the other ones was Salida 200-1, which are their automatics, and they had a couple there. They had a review of them on watch time. And so I thought, well, I'll take a look at them, and they happen to be regulators, and I got a thing for regulators. I have no idea why. And so I was taking a look at those, and I think they're around 2,000 or something like that. 2,700, I think, for the automatic, and 2,400 for the other one. Both of them are regulators. And so I was looking at those. So I thought, well, I'll check out the prices on Chrono 24, and whoa, man, they they were like I think they were about half that price, and so that seemed like a good deal. I mean, if you're in the market for, something on a lower end, and either that or to check off a box about, oh, I want a regulator. Hey, and there's something. Um, okay, Ronan, hi. Uh, what have you guys found? Have you guys found anything interesting? If you want to join the regulators, you need to ditch the beret and get a cowboy hat. No, I'd be on the opposite side. I'd be there with Doc Holliday. um. Oh yeah, this was my pie. This was Pie Day a few years ago when the date and the value of pi were the same. Um, Louis Aron announced regulators last year that our collaboration with Alan's Sieberstein. Ah, yeah, I saw some of those. These were newer ones, I think, in us something. The ones with Alan Sieberstein, those are very interesting looking. A lot of colors. I'm trying to think who they remind me of. There's some artist, Miro. They remind me a little of Miro artwork. Hey, Joseph. Um, okay, so what have you guys found? Anything? Any good deals that you've been looking at? I tell you right now, if you're interested in a chronograph, a really good chronograph that was not very popular. It's by the movement by a living designer and a company, and that's the Parmigiani Persian. I know a lot of people don't like the design of them, but man, I tell you, they're down around 4,000 now. Those are really good buys, and they're good. I mean, excellent watches, but they're not very popular. They got a picture of the boat on the back. So what you do is you get that, then you get the boat. Okay. Hey, Bruce. Let's see what's going on. You're thinking Pat Garrett. Um, no, I'm not thinking Pat Garrett. I, I, I got my great grandfather from Sweden. That one moved from Sweden and ended up in Tombstone, Arizona. And I think what the regulators were the ones who were having a beef with Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday and those guys. Yeah, it's just. By the way, too, it's FP Journe Friday, so I have my FP Journe on again. I I find three watches that I keep wearing more and more. One is this one, the other is my Lang and Hein, and the other one is my Moser. And I just keep popping them on. The other day I had on my uh, what is it? The Harry Winston. I love that watch. Now, there are a lot of other watches I have, and I don't wear. And then when I wear them, I really wear them a lot. It seems. So who knows? You guys must do the same thing. I mean, don't you have a watch that, or do you like to wear the same watch all the time? When I was working, I used to wear my overseas every day to work. So, and I kept it had one of those metal bracelets on the early overseas. They had a bracelet, really a beautiful bracelet, but kept popping open. So I'd be going along, it pop open, I'd put it back, and wore that thing all the time. How about you guys? Do you wear the same watch all the time, or do you mix them up, or you only have one watch anyway? The Hoya reissues, especially 64 reissue, the Salmon Dials is an awesome looking chronograph. Yeah, they have some. Is that what are they called? I forget the name, but Joseph Ketch. This was a good video. Oh, Bud. Yeah. Hey, Bud. They're gonna they're going to stomp on your comments for any scatological remarks. So they have something built in for that. So you got to use a substitute word. Let's see. Cassius, when I am working on my double honeymoon, Reverso and harboring. Harboring. So yeah, harboring would. If I had my harboring then I would have probably worn it a lot too. It's a great. I mean, that thing was so accurate. Still is accurate. Um, and I find myself wearing one for a while, but then tell myself to switch up. Yeah, that's probably a good, to do. Hey, Grant, what are you doing? I try to have a watch for each day of the week. Helps me uniformly distribute the wrist time. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. It's Friday, must be my FP Joint. uh, yeah, bud. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm too disorganized to have anything. Or sometimes I'll be doing something and I'll have a watch like my powder blue Culpa. That watch is there's something about it that's just fun. I mean, it's a heavy sucker. It's a big watch with a big metal band. But once I get it on, forget about it. I don't know why. It's just sort of something special about it. Same thing when I travel. I wear my that big old uh, Parmigiani hemispheres. Okay, so wear a different watch each week. Otherwise, they get jealous for wrist time. I understand that, Mark. I do the same thing. You don't want nothing worse than a jealous watch. Then they start fighting in the case, and you don't want that. I wear my Explorer 2 to the office every day, but now that my job is oh man, I'll try to wear watches more often. Yeah, I hope. Yeah, I know that's going to hurt a lot of people. Has anyone left their house recently? Jeez. I got to head for the store pretty soon, for the grocery store. Um, man, I tell you, yeah, again. Most of the time, my wife and I hang around here anyway, and but when you have to, it's different. Andreas, you wear your watches a month at a time. That's cool. That's there's I guess once a month I used to do this religiously. I'd wind up every watch I had and make sure that they all got wound at least. I think it was on the first of the month. Every on the first of the month. I don't know why I quit doing it. One thing I do, another thing I like to do is make sure my watches, when they unwind on the hand wound, which is most of them, is to make sure they unwind all the way. That became a thing when some funny, when you don't unwind it all the way, your spring is sort of parts of your spring can get stuck. Uh, you've been stuck a week out of beret cleaner. Yeah, I got to get my beret cleaners. I tell you, I got to take some. I got to take some pictures of our goats, our cashmere goats. They look like sheep. They have all of this cashmere on them, and they're big fat right now, and they're out there chomping around the grass. I got to go out and visit them. Um, okay, let's see. In these times, wear your leather band watches inside the house and your decontaminated space, wear rubber bands or metal bracelets. Yeah. Shop early in the morning, very little traffic. I found everything I needed and then some. Yeah, Mark, you're in the medical profession though, so you're one of the more exposed, I think. Hi, Brian. Um, yeah, I think that what I want to start on, I like working in wood. And what I do, any piece of wood that comes along, I save because I think I'm going to need it someday, and I usually do. And out on my workbench, I got all of these saws and stuff. And so one of the things I was thinking of is that I'm going to start working on a design with two swivels, two like little sticks like this, because what I want to do is that I want to have like little cases so that I can put in the. I have I don't know this. I don't know if this one's busted or not. It might be. Anyway, I've got what I want to do is to let me see if this is a broken one. Ah, maybe not. Um, yeah, I want to take two of these and then see where the balance wheel is, and then have them two identical ones, and then sort of set up a little thing for them. So those kinds of projects are sort of fun to do. Um, if this is another time too, I used to like to take all of these online courses uh, just because, and mostly in programming. But one year I took a really neat course that Harvard had on early Puritan poetry, or early poetry in New England, which was by the Puritans. It was really very interesting kind of course. And so that's one thing that, if you've ever thought, of taking something up that you're interested in, whether it's, some kind of hobby you have, or some you've been thinking of, like take a course in photography or take a course in this or that. There are a lot of online courses that they have. I mean, like really good ones from Coursera and what's the other one? Forgot the other one's name. Anyway, they have two main ones. One is centered around Harvard and MIT, and the other one is around Yale and somebody else. And these courses they have are really excellent. And there's sort of something to do, but uh, they can be a lot of work too. Hi, Williams Watches. A big grocery chain here has an express pickup system where you order online. I'm doing that, and the way I only go into the store for a few minutes. That's a good idea. They have there's I don't know, a couple things we need to get, so I'll be going down pretty soon to get it. Yeah, it was. It was a cool course. They had the one I took was very it was the first time they ever offered it, so they only had it for a short period of time, and they were the woman who was teaching it was like a world-class scholar in literature, and so she was trying to show different things here in New England that was an influence on the poets. And she really, I mean, she just had this really fantastic stuff that she was doing. So one of the things it was that there was a certain group of them who used to write about nature, and so she went out to one of the where they had the real naturey looking place and talking about this early New England writers, and it like a 747 flew over, so it spoiled but it was fun anyway. Okay, let's see. What software language did you program in, Andreas? A lot of them. The last one I learned was R, and wasn't crazy about R. The one that was the most challenging was one called Haskell, which is essentially lambda calculus put into a language, and I really love that one. But it was, I don't know. See, I like that. I like I also design patterns. I got into those in a heavy way. C sharp, some of the different ones, nothing too wild. Forth, I used to write in Forth. I spent about 10 years with Forth. God, what a language. Okay, time to go through the W. Richard Stevens recipes to kill time. I make his cookies all the time. That's what I'll. Yeah, that's a good idea. If I took up cooking, I'd be. I, that's a great idea. Um, okay, which company makes your favorite berets? It's one that I these the ones I have are wool and they're nice and warm. That's why I like them, and they berets fit nicely on your head. And I can't think of the name. This is a Basque beret, and it's like I don't know, Lot Hair, something like that, Heritage. But there's this place called a hattery in New Haven called Delmonico's, and they have everything. When we were in a couple of years ago, when we were in Barcelona, I found one of these, and I have it. I wear it to special occasions. So, anyway, you got to be careful on berets. At least I do, because I don't want to look like some guy trying to look like he's military. Because I don't, not a military beret. Or there's all kinds. This is the kind I like. It's just they're comfortable. The funny thing about it is, of all of people wear baseball hats all the time. They're not baseball players, so I don't know. People get all excited about berets. There was an article in the Wall Street Journal about it, and I when I was traveling, I see some guys in berets every now and then. Most of them are older guys too, so it's not something I guess anybody would wear. Okay, anyone have a cello pieces they recommend I learn? A cello? I don't know. I keep telling my wife to learn a song called Far, Far Away. Okay, juniors, that's strange. Real estate here in Colorado seems to be the only thing still moving forward. Maybe that's existing sales. Okay. Yeah, for some people who work from home, um, anyway, it's not too unusual. One of the things that would be rough, though, I think you mentioned with the kids at home. Um, when I was working and my kids were young, I had no door on my office, and so they could always come in and see what I was doing, and they'd want something. They'd always come in. I always did that, and I got used to it, and they got used to it. And they got what it was is if they went to see me, that it was really boring. So they didn't, like if I was working on something, which was usually a book or some research piece, they weren't. It was really like that's really boring. It's go wander off. Say, Grant, what's up? Let's see. Any recommendation for good books on horology? I'd like to learn more about the history of the mechanisms and the movement. Hey, Javier. Yeah, what would be a good book? The Ryan Schmidt's book is a great introduction to watches. The watch, I think it's a Watch Collector's Handbook, I think is the name of it. If you haven't read that one, that's a great one to go through. For history, though, I don't know what'd be a great history book. I always get my history, it seems, in articles and different pieces here and there. So let's see. Let's see. I've worked my kids are like 8 to 10 now. Yeah, you learn to cope. Cellist. Good. Let's see. Yeah, lockdowns everywhere. If I contacted Corona and couldn't make it, please let Edward Mayen know how much I loved his brand of watches. I think you're pretty young, Mark, to kick the bucket. um, yeah, there's I don't know. the stock market took another hit today. They keep doing all of these things to stabilize it, and it just keeps going down. Or if they'll put something in, it'll go up for like a day and then back down again. So, um, okay, masterpieces. Yes, okay. You guys are talking cello masterpieces. All right, that's a good topic. All right, well, let's see. Now, one of the things I'm really hoping to do is to two things. One is to find something that we can do with our watches as a hobby while where we're sort of stuck. And one thing, of course, is that you could take a course in watchmaking. And they have one, let's see, there's an online course that's offered by, Ofe, or it's, ah, Otis Fry, I think is the guy's name. And then they have this, they sell all kinds of stuff. And they also have a course. And that was my first course that I took. And basically, if you take it, you can choose different kinds of movements. The movement that's the default one is I think it's a Salida 210 dash something or other that replaces some ETA. Or you can use an ETA 6498, which is the one you want because it's got nice big parts and you can actually take it apart and put it back together uh, and learn a lot about watches. That would be a neat thing to do, and it's not that expensive either. Um, I got a little desktop workbench. I just pop it on top of my old computer stand where I used to keep my computer, and yeah, it works out great. So that's another thing you guys can think. Oh, Frey, yeah, that's the one, Eddie. Otto Fry, that's it. Yeah, that's the one I was trying to think of. If you go to his site, then there's something called something about a course, and you can. It's pretty much you get a bunch of web pages and you go through them, and they have some stuff for it. It's pretty good. If you're, I don't know what the Horological Society of New York is doing about. They were having these workshops. I think one in Toronto and some other places that are just fantastic. The one I took was a weekend one, and so we took like 3 or 4 courses all at once, and that was great. For as you know, what is the most affordable watch with a Remontois d'Egalite? I'm looking for one. Yeah, Joseph, so am I. There's have not been able to find one. When I think it was Bruce and I and Adam last year at the Watch Time show, we were talking with Stephen Forsay about that. And I asked him, I said, how come more watch companies don't have the Remontois d'Egalite? And he said, they're hard to do. That was like pretty. Gronfeld has that wonderful one in 1941. And that thing's like $50,000. And so does FP's yarn, and his is a whole lot. What about the only way I can get near a Remontois is that Zaz à la Couture True Second, and they have sort of like a little Remontois that springs kicks around the second hand so it can have jumping seconds. See. Food shops are still open, but their curfew set in pubs and restaurants. Yeah, I think the same thing here. Um, the classes are halted for now, I think. Oh, really? The online? Yeah, the ones from the Horological Society are. That's why a lot of these online courses are great because, there was exactly the situation there for everybody's distance by a lot of room. Best new watch for $10,000 sports. What would you pick for a sports watch? Anybody on that one? I'm really not the sports watch guy, but I'll tell you, I think the best buy, and it's for under 10,000, is the one I just mentioned. Get a Parmigiani Fluier Pershing. Those Pershings, man, they're all over the place. You can get them for a great price, and they're excellent watches. They have an excellent movement in it. Michel Parmigiani made the same movement, but they I don't know, they had some kind of deal with a yacht company called Persian Yachts, and so they put a picture of their yacht, and they were probably financed and to some extent by them, and did what they wanted to do. But they're a chronograph, and I've been there's there's some really great prices for brand new ones too, totally new. And if you look around for those I think that is one. There's another one that Parmigiani has. That's a just pretty much a standard chronograph, and I forgot the name of it, but it's another one. It's great prices on those, and they started off at around 20,000, and after a while they found out they weren't going to sell them for 20,000 bucks, and so they've been dropping, and so now you can pick one up for a really good deal. Are Remontois the Egalite and Remontois the same, or is there a slight difference? Eddie, that's a good question. A Remontois is simply means to rewind. It's a French term for rewinding, and the reason that they use it is so that the as the spring unwinds, the mainspring unwinds in a watch, you're not going to have the differential, and so the Remontois d'Egalite is this other little spring that the mainspring rewinds, and every, I don't know, so many seconds they rewind it, like every 8 seconds or something like that. And so what it does, what it unwinds and moves down the gear train, it's consistent. So, but there are probably other things they use it for, like I mentioned, they use a Remontois on that True Second that Jaeger LeCoultre has. The Pioneer you just got, yeah, Tim. Yeah, Tim, that Pioneer. I'm so glad that you got it out of customs. That's the scariest part about that. What color is it, Tim? Was that the blue one you got? The blue Pioneer? Oh, really? Your local gold seller tells you the prices are going down. That is interesting. If you could get rid of Corona by giving up the watch hobby, would you? Of course. But like, I mean, it's like, well, it's sort of like, why why would that ever happen? Okay, well, what do you think of the Longa Zyworks striking hour? A lot of people really love that, and I'm oh, I don't know why. It's a nice watch, but I just don't get excited about it. That it's there are a lot of watches I really think are great, like the Cellini Prince, but everybody else goes like, what? On the other hand, there's some watches that everyone thinks are really cool, and I just don't get the bolt from them. So it's not that I'll tell you one, that the A Longa that I think would be the one to have would be the Datograph. That watch, and I don't know, they're $1 billion. I don't know what they charge for them, but that would be something that would really be a nice watch. But I doubt one's going to come, walking by that I can afford. Okay. Let's see, during. Check out Akriva for a true second type watch. Yeah, Akriva's stuff is really good. It's also very expensive too. I interviewed him a few years ago. Really nice guy, but I don't think he understood what in the world I was talking about because he really didn't speak very much English at all. And so what happened? I interviewed him. So he goes away, and he came back, and somebody said, "This is what the guy was asking about." So he came back and told me what it was. Anyhow, look, guys, I guess sort of over time today, but thank you all for coming. And I'm going to be doing this in the morning, and I'm going to have one at 8 o'clock, and then well, tomorrow's Saturday, and so the Saturday we have it at 3:30. So hope to see you then. By the way, too, let's see, tomorrow's Saturday, right? Well, I think that the reviews, the collection review on Sunday, you're going to like a lot. Anyway, take care, stay safe, and hope to see you again soon.